look at the screen, I have put up a simple load deck file here. It's just a matter of creating a new file and then naming it as the .loadeck. And it's about having these control statements at the right place with the right syntax that helps the offline loader utilities to create the load sets that we would like to load. One handy thing about this load sets, load deck, is that you can have multiple load set statements and use it as you wish, mix and match your projects that you want to load and test. So what you see on the screen now is a simple load deck file with a few control statements. When I mean control statements, the ones with the add symbol there. The first one is the define statement, which defines system settings like system ID. In this case, it's a basic subsystem BSS. And you could also let the loader inform whether you want to get the debug data loaded along with the programs or just the programs alone. In our case, I'm just going to keep it no so that we can source view it if we need it for later. So the debug files is set to no. And the most important thing which makes load deck interesting is the search path. It need not be SRCH path, it's just a name that I've given. It could be anything, but it has to be started with an ampersand. So if you see, you would see 3 directories here, one under Ashok, Karthik, and Abdul. Those are the load sets we had, the directories where we have the SOs. If you look at it, project 1, project 2, and project 3. Now this looks simple. We're just going to try to load this, and I'll come back to the importance of this search order a little later. I'll have this loaded on the system and see what happens. This is one way of doing a load. Right click on the load deck file and just issue the load. And in the meantime, it should just pop out, and we'll just leave it. Select to load here, and nothing major. It was extensively covered in the last session, so I'm not going to get into the details of select, refresh, all the subparameters here. Let's just go in and the message in the output window says all these load sets were created and sent to the vParts. And the load set shows I showed to the last one. So we see all of it, and we'll just leave it as select active. I don't want to mess up with others, so I'll load it. And here we see on the left side on the load set window, all 3 load sets being populated, selectively activated, and we see all those components loaded. And when we try to find the path where it was loaded from, say for example the DFSA, let's find out where the DFSA was loaded from. If you have a look on the deck file, the DFSA.so is being loaded under load set demo project 1 as well as demo project 3. And this one was loaded from the path home Ashok ZIG dev object DFSA.o. What that means is that it's trying to take the first one where it was able to find the DFSA. Now, here's the tricky part. We quite often get queries from programmers where they miss out and have the same objects under different folders, because as a team they do work on the same programs and they might have an older version and they get into problems and they assume it to be a issue in the load set generation, but that's not the case. It's just a path that's messed up. So if we go to the path where it was loaded from and just try to rename the DFSO load set and try to reload this, you would see the difference of how. I'm just going to rename this to KDFSA just to avoid it. Just to keep the simplicity, I'll just go ahead and delete all the loads that was loaded, and then we'll try to load it back again. I'll delete all of them. You could also reload them, that's not going to be a problem, but that's not important here. So it's all available. We haven't changed anything on the load deck, it's still the same file. The only thing is that we have renamed the DFSA shared object under Ashok's directory, and now we should be able to load it from either Karthik's or Abdul, wherever we find it. So it's just the same. Okay. Maybe I did it a little quick and it was not able to rename the same. Or even delete that. I don't even need that here. It couldn't rename it at all. Run that second. There we go. So I'm going to try to load the same load deck. Apparently now it should be either Karthik or the Abdul path, which should have the DFSA. If not, it's going to throw an error saying this was not found. So I'm just going to go ahead and load it. And go to the load sets, load the new one that we just created, and then load it. Just give it a minute to settle down, and we'll try to find where the DFSA was pulled out from. Okay, so you see the system icon all the way at the left top table, so that means there is no activity going on. Now I show the path. Now it picks up from a different folder, so that comes in handy when you work in a larger team where you have many people working on same components, but while you want to integrate tests and you don't want to take the hassles of maintaining individual load sets, maybe a team lead or a project manager can just handle one load set and make sure you got the right source from the right path and integrate test the whole module. So we thought this would come handy for you all at your job. So glad to share, and if you guys have any questions on this one, or if you would like to see any new topics that you would be more interested to know, just let us know. Chitra, does anybody have any questions? Do you have any hands raised up there?
Hi guys, the session is now open for your questions. You can either click on this hand raise symbol, or you can just send a chat message. You will be unmuted to get your answers for your queries. Mark, you can directly throw the question to the presenter. You're unmuted.
Oh, okay, yeah. The in the load deck file and the ampersand search path, is that concatenation so that Ashok will always be the first search folder, and then Abdu would be the last?
The colon that differentiates or ends the path, and it's the concatenation. You can just keep on going.
Okay. So you could have swapped these instead of actually renaming them.
Yeah, we could try that also. We'll try it. I mean, it's a good one. That's another way of changing the path. We'll do that now. I'm going to go rename it again. Yeah, I will type to GFS here. Slap the path. Yeah, the last one. To the top. Then a column there. Okay. That's what you meant, right, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to save it and then delete the old ones and see where it goes. It'll just clear the window for. Okay. Now it should just pick it up from Abdul's. Yeah. That's the Cadillac will just automatically activate it. And okay. There we go. It's the top one.
Okay. Good.
Thank you. Yeah, it did help. I mean, you might have such plans also. See, that's a smart way of doing it as well, rather than renaming the objects and getting into the ambiguity of what was renamed. You could just play around with this text file and change the path, or if you don't want to delete or have multiple text files with different path hierarchies based on team needs, you can have it. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for bringing it up.
Mark, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I have another question quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please proceed.
Can you show where the load deck file resides in the host or the project?
In this case, we have just put it on. I'll just go to here, and if you look at it, that's the path that I have it on. We usually put it on the there it is. Yeah, it could reside in Linux. It doesn't have to be on a specific path. You can just have it anywhere in the.
Anywhere in the home path? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We usually have it on the build, and few people have to put it on the RT or dev or whatever place they are comfortable with. It's just the programmer's preference.
Okay, thanks.
Good.
Mark, I am fine with the answers.
Yes, that's good.
Thank you. Bon, you can throw your questions. You are unmuted.
Yeah, good morning. What is the role of the debug file equals now, and if that is essential or not?
That's an optional one. You can leave it to no. What it does is it does not even just load the programs. It also has the side files, as we call the debug file. What you do when you do a source view log, it's going to load the debug files needed to have a line-by-line trace. So you could either load the load set for tracing or just for testing purposes. It's just a matter of choice. If you put it as yes, it's going to go and load all the additional files needed for debugging. But that's an option. You could still remove that. That's not a mandate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions?
Okay. So I think we don't have any more questions, and feel free to write to us, guys. I mean, it's just build products for you guys. And if you have any questions or if you're in need of any technical help with our product, feel free to write to us. And if there are any topics that you would like to see in the upcoming webinars, we would be more than happy to conduct a session especially for you guys, or even conduct a webinar for the whole group here. Well, once again, thanks for joining, and I'm handing over back to Chitra now.
Hi guys, thanks for your participations and your interactions during this session. Followed by this webinar, you'll be survey questions. We expect you to provide your valuable inputs for that, so that we can rate our webinar as well as provide you with the required product information. And followed by that, we'll be sending you a webinar follow-up mail with a link to this recorded webinar session. Thank you all for your participations and your support. Thanks once again.
Have a good day.